Hello VC, I'm back again to do a recent vinyl finds and I have a bunch of stuff to show you, so trying to do this as short as I can. We just head on into it. Here we go. So, it took 3 years to do a trade with LJ, but we finally made it. And yeah, thank you so much LJ for the trade. I think it's 2 days ago now I got a huge package from LJ. And a week ago or something like that I sent out my package and it's arrived safely at his house. It's very cool, so everything went down great. But I showed a record 2 weeks ago that he wanted and needed in his collection, so of course I offered it to him, and that ended up being we did a huge trade. 8 records, unfortunately, I can't show you everyone because I want to listen to every single record before I show them here in the VC. But I've listened to 2 of them, so I'm going to show those now. Oh, I forgot. LJ sent me a cool postcard, and that's going up there with all the other VC related stuff. So really cool. Thank you so much. And an awesome note with man love in it. Yeah. So this is going with this record I have in my lap. And what record is it? This has been probably on top of my want list for I should say maybe 2 or 3 years now. Freak Out with the Mothers of Invention by Zappa. Now, it all started with LJ showed this and he said that this is not in great condition at all. It plays, but it's not in great condition. So after a little while I said, well, I'll take a chance on it and we'll trade it. And I was super happy. This is this US second press, if I did my research right. Let's see here. There we go. It's because of the X there. I figured out it's a second press. 1966 double LP, one of the first double LPs. Psychedelic rock music by Mothers of Invention. Freaky music, and so good. Really good, and I'm super happy to have this in maybe VG condition. I'm still gonna look for another one, but until I find it, and it may take 2, 3, 4 years until I do, I have a great copy that don't skip and has some cracks and pops, the deal. Thank you so much, LJ. Visit here. Music. Okay, so the next one I managed to play from LJ's pile is this one, and I'm really pleased with this as well, in fucking awesome condition. This is Van Morrison and his Band on the Street Choir, the 5th record from 1970. Gatefold, backside. And if you like Astral Weeks and Moondance and Tupelo Honey, this is right up your alley. You won't be disappointed with this. Just as good as those, in my opinion. Okay, moving on to a jazz record. I don't know if I may have shown this already, but I've cleaned it as a mother because it has some background noise. But Miles Davis in Europe, live at the Antibes Jazz Festival with Ron Carter, Herbie Hancock and Tony Williams. Playing their heart out, 1964, I think. Something like that. Great record with Miles Davis. One you need if you like the 60s Miles. This was a great find in my opinion. I found it for $10 in Gothenburg when I was there. This is the first German press, or the first European press from 1968 that they made. So it's kind of an original, if you may, by The Move, self-titled. So Roy Wood is one of the guys behind this, and later Jeff Lynne joined The Move, but not on this one. This is the first one. Really good psychedelic rock, in the same vein as maybe a little bit Beatlesque from Sgt. Pepper, those kind of strong songs, strong melodies, a little bit psychedelic, and a really good record. Classic psychedelic record. This is here. The collector bug has really got a hold of me, and this is a case of that. This is For Fuck's Sake Volume 1 by the Fox. And the Fox was a band. They only released one record, and it's this one. So they never released Volume 2 because they didn't manage to make another record. Record label didn't allow them to. This is cool because it's a kind of a gatefold or whatever you want to call it, but you see it open up like that. And it goes all the way back here, so it's kind of a poster because you can take it off on this kind of thing. Do you see this on my finger? And all the copies I've seen out there always has the poster taken off, you know. So this is kind of unique in that case. And I think I paid $10 for it, $10-12, something like that. Great price for one record that's intact, and the record is in splendid condition. It's like mint. Really, really good. So a good price for that. I already have this one, but without the poster. You know, it's been ripped off like 90% of every other copy with this on this one. So I'm really, really happy with this. And the music, good, solid rock music from the early 70s. You know, that kind of music. A little bit obscure. So if you want that sort of collector's item and good solid rock music from that time period, get it. So that was the international bunch of the records I'm going to show you. The next ones are Swedish related, so if you don't like Swedish related records at all, don't watch. This is here. The first one I'm going to show you is pretty cool. It's not super good, but it's kind of cool. It's Egba with Bryter upp or Breaking Up. So I think that they thought that this was going to be the last one. But it's not. It's their 5th record, and they released a bunch of records after this. Kind of cool in the sleeve. So Egba was a jazz fusion funk band back in the mid-70s maybe, with a lot of good players from Tages, and you have Amadou Jarre also playing percussion with Egba. Good musicians, and they released a record called Jungle Jam. I've shown that a bunch of times. It's a classic, awesome record. This is not Jungle Jam at all, because this lacks a little bit of that, you know, typical nerve that you need to have an interesting record. This is too polished. But for that price I paid, dirt cheap, worth it to have in the collection. Okay, so the next one for you guys digging Swedish music. This is kind of cool, because this is a kind of a rare record actually. Slim's Blues Gang with The Blues Ain't Strange from 1970 on Sonnet Records. The deal with this with Slim's Blues Gang was they released the record in the early 60s. I think it was a single, a 7-inch. And they didn't make a whole record. Back in the day they thought, or they said that they were the only blues band in Sweden, but I can't think that, you know, they were. But they said that. And this is a good blues record with young musicians. You know, that kind of a young blues sort of record. But just because of the rarity of it, it's pretty cool. Because I got this for free. I changed it for a bad copy of Sgt. Pepper. Because he needed the inner sheet of that, and he wasn't interested at all in this. So that was a good trade. And this is in the prog book, you know, of rare records and stuff like that. So it pops up on some lists, but the blues music on this is not exactly my cup of tea. But cool to have in the collection. A rarity, a rarity. Okay, continuing on. This is. I love these kind of records, and I don't know, I don't think this is a rare one, but look at that cover. I mean, I bought it for just a couple of bucks, and look at the cover. Just for a couple of bucks, it's worth the cover. By Georg Riedel and Bengt Malmberth. And what this is a Swedish jazz record from 1970. But Georg Riedel, Arne Domnerius, and Bengt Hallberg did like a bunch of songs that would be good to work out to. So this guy, Bengt Malmberth, he's a teacher at a school teaching gymnastics. So you have jazz music with a great tempo, and you have Bengt Malmberth talking about different workouts that you do to the music, and you also get a sheet so you know what to do. So it's like great jazz music, and then he comes in and says, bend your knees, do push-ups, you know. And I love that kind of quirky kind of records, because you don't get that nowadays. So quirky record, good music, and a killer cover, you know. The artwork is just fantastic, iconic. And those two, and for that price, you know, I couldn't just leave it there. I had to buy it. Do you know about this, Anders? Do you have it? Do you know anything? You know, is it? Because I can't find too much information about it. Let me know. Okay, the next one, also pretty cool. You have Amando Jar. And Amando Jar was a percussion player in Swedish prog. And this is called En dag i Afrika, A Day in Africa. Also a quirky record on some sorts. He talks a little bit over the music and before the music, and he plays a lot of different percussion-based instruments. And he talks about his African heritage and how he came to Sweden and started playing with a bunch of guys. And you have a lot of children, so it's almost like he's talking to the children, educating them about Africa and African music. So kind of quirky, but the music is also great. And amongst the people here, or the children, you have Titiyo and Nene Cherry. And both Titiyo and Nene Cherry is daughters to Amando Jar. And Nene Cherry is also a niece to Don Cherry. On Odeon Records also. So yeah, cool record. Next one I was super pleased with. Good, solid, interesting record with Jonas Hellborg. Elegant Punk, second solo bass album. So his second solo album, just playing bass, just him playing bass all the way through. Different kind of bass guitars. But it's really interesting, good playing. And sounds brilliant on you coming through the speakers. Highly recommended. I got this for $4 and I looked it up on PopPsych and it goes for a lot of money. So I don't know why I got it for $4, but Jonas Hellborg is one of those artists that when I find a record for a decent price, I buy it, because he always do interesting stuff in my opinion. Okay, the next one is pretty cool. This was an amazing find, you know, of music, not record, but music. I don't know, if you're a Swedish guy, you may have seen this before. This is Bengt Arne Wallin playing psalms, Christian church psalms by Jan-Olof Wallin. And Bengt Arne Wallin is a jazz musician in Sweden, and what he did was taking a bunch of studio musicians, really good studio musicians, throwing them in the studio and doing these psalms, but in a jazz fusion funk way. And you have Jan Schaffer, Okej Tamis, Ola Brunket, Bobo Stensson, Tommy Körberg, you know, the who's who of the Swedish jazz rock scene back in the day in 1971. Just fantastic playing. The only thing I don't like with this is the vocals, the singing over this. They could just skipped the vocals and you would have a even more brilliant record. But other than that, for just a couple of bucks, amazing. And that brings us to the last record for today, and also segueing from the other record to this one, because I got a copy of Adventures in Jazz and Folklore for just $6, I think, $7. And I've been wanting this for a while, because this is the perfect example of mid-60s jazz in Sweden with that kind of folk, Swedish folk edge to it that I really love. You have Bengt Arne Wallin, that I showed you on the last record. Jan Johansson, Georg Riedel, that was on Puls, the gymnastic record, and Bengt Hallberg also from the gymnastic record. Great jazz artists playing together, doing different arrangements of classic, like Swedish folk tunes. And if you like Jan Johansson and his playing on jazz on Swedish and jazz on Hungarian and stuff like that, this is the record for you. I have listened to this maybe 10 times before I got it, and it grows on me every time I listen to it. And I thought it was brilliant just the first time I heard it. Thick vinyl on Dux Records also, so that's a plus. Great sound quality. If you need a perfect example of a perfect jazz record that doesn't cost you hundreds of dollars, this is a perfect example. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. And again, thank you so much, LJ, for the trade. And bye.